Hello and welcome to Lift the Cup Fantasy, or LTC Fantasy as some call it. Today is our Week 18 strategy episode where we're going to look at the schedule for Week 18 and break it down on how to find some players that hopefully get you the win this week and keep your season going strong. Week 18 is a fairly balanced schedule with 5 games on Monday, 6 on Tuesday, 5 on Wednesday, 8 on Thursday, 6 on Friday, and then it gets a little busier on the weekend with 10 games on Saturday and 8 games on Sunday, Do note that Chicago, Detroit, New Jersey, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, Vegas, and Washington only play twice this week. So if you do have some borderline players, those would be the ones to drop. And teams that do have 4 games this week are Winnipeg, Toronto, Seattle, San Jose, the Islanders, Columbus, and Colorado. With the balanced schedule, we will focus on the teams that play 4 times this week. That way you get more value on your ads for this week. And we'll break it down by defensemen and forwards. That way, if you are looking for a particular piece, do look in the description. That way, it'll show you where in the episode to find that defenseman or forward. And also, if you do need to come back to the episode, because part of the week you're looking for a defenseman or a forward, remember to subscribe. That way you can find the video and get back to that piece that you need. Later in the week, we will be having our regular waiver wire ads episode, which will look at players that are on a hot streak to hopefully help you not only for this week, but future weeks. And we'll also have our weekend ads episode, which will really focus on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday games on how to get those last minute ads in the week to push you over the top and get you that win. And then we'll jump right into it. So some defensemen to look at this week are Nate Schmidt from Winnipeg, owned in 23% of Yahoo leagues, is playing on the second pairing and second power play unit. Year to date, he does have 24 points in 46 games to go along with 63 blocks and 79 shots on goal. So not only the point production's there, but also some of the secondary stats. And he is averaging more points than both Morrissey and Pionk. Another one I would look at, though, is Morrissey from Winnipeg, just for the simple fact that he does play on that top pairing and top power play unit. Next one is Rasmus Sandin from Toronto, only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. He does play on the third pairing, but does man the second power play unit. He only has 12 points in 40 games, but he is a young guy with a lot of offensive upside, and we might be seeing that recently as 2 points in the last 3 games. Next one is Mark Giordano from Seattle, owned in 48% of Yahoo leagues. He is their captain, is on the top pairing and top power play unit. He does have 20 points in 43 games, and so it's a little bit low, but he's really been a lot better lately, having 6 points in the last 9 games. And in those 9 games, he's had 25 shots on goal and 17 blocks. Another one to consider from Seattle is Vince Dunn. He does play on that third pairing, second power play unit, but he does have 3 points in his last 5 games. Next one is Noah Dobson, owned in 31% of Yahoo leagues. Does play on the second pairing and first power play unit. Year to date, he does have 20 points in 41 games, but he's been picking it up lately, having 5 points in the last 7. And in those 7 games, 21 shots on goal, so 3 shots a game for a defenseman's a lot, and 19 blocks. Another one to consider from the Islanders, even though I'd be a little hesitant, is Ryan Pulock, just because he does man the second power play unit, and he does have 2 points in the last 4 games. Moving along is Adam Boqvist from Columbus, owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. Does play on the second pairing and second power play unit, and he has been a very highly touted prospect. Year to date, he has 17 points in 34 games, so he's up to that half point per game, and he's been even better of late, having 3 points in the last 4 games. Next one is, last defenseman is Samuel Girard from Colorado. Might be harder to find because his ownership is higher at 68%, so available in almost a third of the league. He does play on the second pairing and second power play unit. Year to date, he does have 26 points in 46 games, and he does have 68 blocks, so he does Add some secondary value in there if blocks is considered in your league. He is pointless in the last 5 games, but before that he had 7 points in his previous 8 games to that. So he's a little bit on a cold streak lately, but he has been pretty good all year. Moving along to forwards, I look at Cole Perfetti from Winnipeg, listed as a center right winger, only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. He does play on the second line and second power play unit, and he only has 7 points in 17 games played, because he did start the season, then he got sent down, then after the World Juniors he did come back up with the big club. But he has been better of late, having 3 of those 7 points are in the last 4 games. Another one to consider is Andrew Kopp. He's frustrating as hell. He's really, really streaky. He'll get you a bunch in a short amount of time and then just absolute bagels for game on game on game. So I'd be hesitant to take him, but he is worth a shot for a streamer. Next one is Michael Bunting from Toronto, listed as a left winger, owned in 29% of Yahoo leagues. Does play on that first line with Matthews, so you are going to get some piggyback points, and also get some power play time on the second unit. Year to date, he does have 32 points in 46 games, and he's been really hot of late, having 8 points in his last 7 games to go along with 19 shots. Next from Toronto is Alex Kerfoot, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, only owned in 15% of Yahoo leagues. Right now is playing on that second line with Tavares, and that's helped out. Year to date, he has 32 points in 46 games, identical to Bunting, and he not quite as good in the last 7 games played, but does have 5 points in those 7 games. Moving along is Jared McCann from Seattle, listed as center, left wing, only owned in 29% of Yahoo leagues. Does play on that top line and top power play unit, and he's been the horse for Seattle this year. He has 31 points in 44 games and 113 shots on goal. So there's a little bit of secondary value for you. And he has 8 points in his last 9 games to go along with 22 shots. Next from Seattle's Kelly Yarncroc, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. He does play on that second line and is on the first power play unit. He has 19 points in 37 games, which is pretty good considering he only had 2 points in his first 14 games, and now in his next 23 games he had 17 points. So almost a point per game in the last 23. Next one's Yanni Gourde, listed as center right winger, only owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues, does center the second line and second power play unit. And year to date, he has 27 points in 41 games played, and he does have 4 points in his last 3 games played. Moving along to San Jose, look at Logan Couture, listed as a center, only owned in 62% of Yahoo leagues, so it is a little bit higher, but more than a third of the leagues he is available. Year to date, he has 34 points in 44 games, with 105 shots on goal and 60 hits. So even those secondary stats, especially if you're in a banger league, that's definitely some value for you. Next one from San Jose is Jonathan Dahlin, listed as center, left wing, and right wing. So you can put him in any of the forward positions, which I do like, and only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. So basically anywhere you can find him. He is on that second line with Couture and is on the second power play unit. Year to date, he has 20 points in 42 games, so it is a little bit low, but he does have 4 points in his last 5 games played, so I'd definitely take a look at him. Moving to the Islanders, I look at Anders Lee, listed as left winger, only owned in 29% of Yahoo leagues, does play on that top line and top power play unit. Year to date, he has 19 points in 38 games played, but he's a lot better player than that, and it's shown in the last 4 games he's had 4 points. Next one from the Islanders is Anthony Beauvillier, listed as left winger and only owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. Does play on the second line and second power play unit. Year to date, it's 18 points in 40 games, but in past years he's been a lot stronger than that, and it's shown in the last 4 games also. He's had 3 points in the last 4 games. Moving to Columbus, I look at Boone Jenner, listed as center left winger, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues, and he's been a really, really good fantasy player this year. He's on the first line and first power play unit. Year to date, he has 34 points in 47 games to go along with 55 hits, 47 blocks, and a ton of goals, shots on goal, 128 shots on goal. And he's been on a hot streak lately, having 7 points in his last 7 games played. Another one from Columbus is Oliver Borkstrand, listed as left wing, right wing, owned same as Jenner, 44% of leagues, does play on that top line with him and on the top power play unit. Year to date has 31 points in 45 games played and a lot of shots on goal too with 113. And he has 3 points in his last 4 games played. Next one from Columbus is Jakub Voracek, listed as left wing, right wing, owned in 45% of Yahoo leagues, currently playing on the third line but is on the first power play unit. He has 32 points in 45 games played, and he's been hot of late, having 5 points in his last 5 games played. Last one from Columbus is Gustav Nyquist, listed as left wing, right wing, owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues, currently on the second line and second power play unit. Year to date, he has 28 points in 47 games played, and he's been really hot, exact same as Jenner, 7 points in his last 7 games played. Last forward to look at is Valery Nichushkin from Colorado, listed as left wing, right wing, only owned in 32% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the second line with Kadri and on the second power play unit. Year to date, he has 25 points in 32 games played, and he has 89 shots on goal, so almost 3 shots a game, which is really nice value on the secondary stats. And he's been even better of late, having 8 points in his last 10 games played. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hope you find that player you're looking for. As I mentioned earlier, later in the week, we will be having our waiver wire episode, and we'll also have our weekend ads episode. And again, if you did like today's episode, please hit like, remember to subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified of future episodes. Good luck in Week 18, all you fantasy owners.